Recognize that sound? All right, well, I'm here to tell you about Scotty Moore and the Echosonic Amplifier. When I was a kid, I got into Elvis probably about the time that Elvis died. And I just remember at the time, those records, man, that lead guitar just jumped out of the speakers at me. Like, what is that sound? It was this incredible sound. And it was Scotty Moore, Elvis's guitar player. And it took me many more years to find out what he was playing that had that really unique sound. He was playing through a custom-built Echosonic amplifier made by a guy named Ray Butts in Cairo, Illinois. Now, Ray Butts made, 65, 70 of these amplifiers total back in the 1950s, and there's probably only maybe 11 or 12 of them known to exist today. So for many, many years, I searched for my own Echosonic amplifier with no luck. And eventually I got the opportunity to play with Scotty Moore. And, Scotty was such a great guy, just a really, really great guy. I can't say enough good things about him. And we got to talking about the Echosonic amplifier. And he mentioned to me, he said, I actually have two of them. Not many people know that I have two. I have the original one that I played on all the Elvis records. And then I have a second one that I bought to have as a spare. And so I just kind of remarked very offhandedly to him. I said, well, Scotty, if you ever get around to selling that second one, let me know. Because I know that I could never afford the original one, but if you ever want to sell that second one, let me know. And so I probably did half a dozen gigs with Scotty. I knew him pretty well, would go and visited him at his house in Nashville when I was there. And just eventually, one day out of the blue, I get a phone call, and he wanted to sell the amplifier. And he had found a buyer for his original one in New York, and he was getting a ton of money for it. And he wanted to sell me this number 2 amp of his for not very much money. He said he wanted me to have it. So I flew to Nashville, and I have to say that the absolute best day of my life was the day I spent with Scotty Moore at his house when I bought this Echosonic amplifier from him. It was like an out-of-body experience. Here I was with Elvis's guitar player, and he was telling me stories about, playing in front of 10,000 people with a 25-watt amplifier with a little tape echo built into the bottom of it, and showing me how to do maintenance on it and how to cut the tape loop and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, for me, it was the best day ever. So eventually Scotty passed away, and now here I am with Scotty's Echosonic amplifier, and it's a pretty crazy thing. Ray Butts was a guy that, he was a very smart guy. He was an inventor. Besides inventing this amplifier, he also invented the Filtertron pickup for Gretsch guitars, and did a lot of other things too. But when he invented this back in the mid-1950s, this was actually the first tape echo ever made for guitar. And it was so early and primitive that he didn't even think maybe people would want a separate tape echo unit so they could use their own amplifier. He envisioned, no, you would buy the amplifier and it would have the tape echo in the bottom of it, and it was just going to be one complete package. So like I said, this is one of those few surviving amplifiers. It belonged to Scotty Moore, and every time I play through it, it still just gives me goosebumps, because there it is. There's that sound. It's the end of Heartbreak Hotel. It's, there's so many things. But I'll send you home with a little mystery train here through Scotty Moore's Echosonic Amplifier number 2. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Train I ride, 16 coaches long.